Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those that don't know me, my name is Beck and this is my Pajero walkthrough 2.0. Since my last video, I've actually done some modifications such as a long-range fuel tank, a water tank. I've changed the back setup, put in the fridge in a different place, built a platform and a couple other little things. So I will show you all those in this video. A couple of my subscribers have also asked if I can give a brief description of how I've done the wiring for my car, so I will be having a special guest to come on and show you and talk to you about how to do that. Other than that, I think we should get to it. Okay, so we'll start off in the back. So what I've done is I've added a 42-litre water tank to it, and we've just strapped it with straps onto the cage. Nothing fancy here, keep it simple. And what we've done also is attached it to a 12-volt inline pump, which actually runs to the back, so I'll just quickly show you that now. So all we've done is put a bit of PCV pipe and put a coiled hose in and just connected it like that. So very simple, probably cost about 25 Australian dollars to do. So I just put the hose back in like that and hook it up. Super simple. That's just so I can wash dishes and everything at the back to go with my kitchen setup, and that's also controlled by the power box and the switch. So the other thing I've done is I've actually moved my fridge from the back of my car into the back seats. I've taken out my back seats and they're never coming back. My setup is now officially only for 1 or 2 people. So I put the fridge here. We've actually made a platform for it to go on, and that's being heavily reinforced. So if you're going to do this yourself, make sure that you actually bolt it down correctly to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. I can give you a little brief explanation of that if you guys would like in another video, so just let me know in the comments. That's pretty much all I've done in the back section. Besides putting in the power box, I've also put in an inverter, and that's just the back setup. Now it's just a bit neater and everything than it was before, and I can control everything from one source, which I like. As you can see, I've just changed the back setup. There's not really much done here differently. I've just built this shelving system. This again probably costs about $50 to make. Very simple, very easy, and it's lasted on corrugated roads and it hasn't broken yet. So highly recommend. Again, if you guys want to know how I've made this, please let me know in the comments and I will make a separate video on it. Also, I've just added a light back here. This is actually a white light, but I've just added a bit of orange tape to it to make it an orange light to stop the insects. One other thing I just want to quickly talk about is a lot of people were worried about the weight on the top of my car. This is probably about 100 kilos. I wouldn't recommend going any more than that. A lot of people were worried that if I went on corrugated roads and that my roof was actually going to concave. It hasn't happened yet. I wouldn't recommend going any heavier than 100 kilos. Like, this is the max weight I would ever put on this roof. And because my awning actually doesn't sit on my roof, it sits off the side, I think that's counterweighted the weight a tiny little bit. Also, we have reinforced the top frame with steel runners instead of the plastic runners that actually come with the Pajero, so that's helped a lot. But always do your own research when it comes to putting things on the top of your car and checking the weights and everything, because I'm not an expert on that. I'm just going off what I know, and this has not caused me any problems yet. The other thing I've done is add a 128 ARB Frontier plastic fuel tank. I got the plastic one because I didn't want to have 2 separate fuel tanks and then have to do a switch and a pump and everything. It was too much work. So my dad actually installed this himself at home, so it's fairly simple to do if you've got some basic mechanic knowledge. Highly recommend you get one if you've got a Pajero, because it's completely changed the way I do my trips and everything, because I can get about 1,000 to 1,100 kilometers now off one tank, which is just a massive change when you're traveling through Australia, especially because you don't have to fill up as often and you can get from point A to point B without stopping. So highly recommend doing that, and if you do have the money, invest in it, because it will change the way you travel. The other thing I've added is a UHF radio, just a really basic setup. that's pretty much self-explanatory. It's pretty easy to do. You just run the cable from the antenna through the main grommet again into the front to connect to the radio and connect it to a power source. So pretty basic, anyone can do that, and that's just also another thing I would invest in because it's nice to know when heavy loads and trucks are coming your way. I've also added a kill switch to my power board in case of emergencies, and now I'll just run through the wiring for the rear light quickly. So we've just zipper tied that to my roof rack and run it down the rear door. You'll have to run the wire through the rear door grommet, which is actually where all your wiring goes for your rear door, and then once it's through there, you'll have to remove the plastic off the back section and run it from there up into your power box. I've also updated my battery, so I now have a 12 volt 48 amp lithium battery, and we've mounted this where the third row seats used to go in a Pajero. I've also mounted my air compressor there with a removable tank, and this all runs up to my power box. And now to briefly talk to you about the wiring, making his first ever internet appearance on this channel, Mr. Peter Hamilton, my mechanic, handyman, electrician, and my dad. You want to come say hi?
Hi, internet people.
I'm just going to leave it up to him, and he's just going to briefly explain it all to you.
Hi, now Bex asked me to describe how we did the wiring for a second battery setup. Well, what we have is we have a red arc VC-DC charger mounted in the front, 25 amp. And what we've done is we've run the wiring chasing the harness back into the car, coming into the cab on the passenger side. You find if you run the wiring down the passenger side under the carpet, under the little sills on the doors, you can bring it right through to the back like I've done with Bex. Now what we've done is we've come to the back, we've got a 56 amp hour lithium battery mounted in Beck's car. So we've run to that. We've got a central earth point at the back. We have a central power post at the back. Now from the power post and the earth, it runs up to the power board. From there, we have our switches mounted, and we run the air compressor, the water pump, the light, rear light here. She has a couple of spare switches to use when she needs to. Now also to what we mounted was a small 800 watt inverter. I suppose a lot of you'd say that's rather small, but yes, that's the purpose of it. It's only so Beck can charge her laptop, run a laptop, and
that was it really.
Yeah. And that's about it for the wiring. If you've got any questions, just send them to Beck and I'll try to answer them for her. Thanks.
So that wraps up this video, guys. If you want to see any more of my videos, make sure you click the subscribe button and like this video. You can also follow my adventures on my Instagram, which I will link here as well. And I also do write a blog if you want to read more in depth about my travels. Now, I will try and answer all the comments and everything that you have about my Pajero, and if you want to see any videos like how I've made the water tank or how I've made my storage setup or anything, please let me know in the comments and I'll get to it when I can. But for now, that's all. See you guys.